Who's the gangster? We're gangsta rap. Who's the gangster? Who's the gangster? We're gangsta rap.
YouTube, salute. Here are my album review for Royce da 5'9". The Allegory. Yes, you see the album cover. This album right here, wow, very dark, different from the Book of Ryan that came out in 2018. Well, one thing I can say about the Allegory, it's like African-American history mixed with hip-hop 101. Get a hybrid of both courses together. That's what I do like about this album. Royce da 5'9", using his intellect, talks so much about African-American history, Black history, talks about the struggles Black people in America face on a daily basis, from slavery, post-slavery, Jim Crow, Black Code, Civil Rights, Black Power movement, to contemporary. So let's start off with the producers. There's only one producer on this album, and that's Royce da 5'9". He produced the entire album, which I'm actually surprised and shocked that he didn't have DJ Premier. He didn't have like Pete Rock, Eminem. For real, like I was like, hold on, what's up with all these dudes? Even some, in-house producers. No, it's just all Royce da 5'9". So I give him a lot of props for producing his first project totally by himself. Features, we have Imani, Cedric the Entertainer, Ashley Sorrell. She's on like 3 or 4 tracks, so I like her, man. I could tell Royce is gonna be pushing her. You have Graf on here, you have Oswald Benjamin, dope. What you call it, lyricist. You have Griselda, West Side Gun, You have Benny the Butcher coming, nigga. You have Conway the Machine. You have Crooked Eye, King Crooked is on here. T.I., Sada Prince, Vince Staples, G Perico, and White Gold. Yes, no Eminem is on here. Kid Vicious is on here also. Oh yeah, like I said, but no Eminem is on here. So those are all the features on the album. 22 tracks, 6 interludes. So let's start off with Mr. Grace. When you hear about Mr. Grace, the intro, like, it's just the introduction of the album about what is an allegory. It speaks about what an allegory is. And like you said, it's a fairy tale story. So he's giving his story about America, the States, what's going on. Dope, man. That track right there is very dope. I like that track. It stands out about how the dope man in the Black community, story about what was going on with that. I don't age. Royce is just spitting rhymes like he's still rapping like he just started, for real. It ain't no difference. Like since him and Eminem was always going bar to bar when he started off. He's always showed the same. He always showed the same skills. Only thing I feel like he just elevated. Pendulum, I like that track. Then that track right there stood out to me, where you can see Royce giving you lessons about African American culture. I Play Forever. Graf did a great job on that track. Him and Graf going back and forth, wordplay. Now, there's a skit, interlude, ice cream, and person in the ice cream truck pulls up to the children, and the young girl says that while you playing that 1960s record that, is a theme for watermelon and niggas, whatever. That was the thing when that song was made out, and people don't realize that's why people don't favor ice cream trucks, because of the theme music. So it's always some type of racism. People don't realize racism is so entrenched in stitched in America. Shit, you ain't run away from that. Then you have On the Block, Oswald Benjamin, DJ Premier scratching, which was dope. I think that's the only thing DJ Premier did on this album was the scratches on that track. That track is just pure wordplay, bar for bar, nothing else, nothing more. Generation is Broken. That's track 8. Generation is Broken, and I like that track because Royce talks about how the generation is like regressing, they're not moving forward, and we've seen so many leaders be assassinated. We talk about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We're talking about, people in the Black Power movement, Huey P. Newton, Kwame Nkrumah. As far as he was in Ghana, Kwame Ture, Asada Shakur fleeing to Cuba. So our generation hasn't made the right steps. We're talking about Reaganomics, the crack epidemic in the 80s. We're talking about Clinton bill in 94 with the 3 strikes. So the generation has just been regressing. Overcomer featuring Westside Gunn. I love that track. I did a reaction to that on my channel. Please check that out if you get a chance. Miss Grace. Miss Grace is something that stood out to me. That was dope. That was real dope right there. You want to check that out. Dow Shell featuring Kid Vicious. That track right there is cool. It wasn't the best track. I felt that that beat could have been better on that track. So I was like, all right, this is cool. Boo Boo featuring Conway the Machine. I felt that Conway verse is dope, but I felt like it wasn't too much of a favorite. And like I said, if you don't know what FUBU is, it was a clothing line from LL Cool J. For us, by us, black-owned business. The thing I like that when Royce said on that track, he said that the hospital, they injected a syringe in his son to give him autism. So, you know, when you think about it, these vaccines give our children autism. So a black man's favorite shoe is a skip. Now that leads right into Upside Down featuring Benny the Butcher and Ashley Sherrill. I did a reaction to that on my channel. Please check that out. And I love that track right there because it talks about how things are backwards. You're dealing with, like, you know, gay people going out of straight people, when you're dealing with, you know, people not taking life serious of what's going on out here. Perspective skit is decent. Trick featuring King Cricket, aka Cricket Eye. That track, that's a hard track right there. And I'm gonna tell you why. It talks about how we've been tricked and bamboozled of understanding what life is when it comes to, like, our African culture, spirituality, to accepting Christianity, to thinking that the government is all for black people, and we was doing things when it was coming to the civil rights, and we was integrated into a burning house. That's what Martin Luther King said. How the history has taught black people so many things, but it was just, the only thing is just to keep us walking like a zombie. So that track right there was real tight. Black people in America, I like that. I like that also, but that's more of like the skit that leads into Black Savage, and I have a reaction to that on my channel also, so please check that out. Rhinestone Do-Rag. Rhinestone Do-Rag. I wasn't really feeling that track too much. It's alright. I'm not gonna lie. It's alright. It ain't the best. I mean, the beat, I couldn't feel the beat. I couldn't get into the beat. Now, number 20, which is a couple of tracks left, Young World featuring Vince Staples and G Perico. That track right here, that is hard. I love Vince Staples. You know, shout out to Vince Staples. You know, he's always representing. So, California native, just like me. So I see the versatility with Royce. You could tell that that track is almost like a prime track if he was to have, you know, DJ Premier on the track beat. So I felt like, you know, that was nice right there. They see that My People Free featuring Ashley Sorrell. He gives a shout out to, like, Ice-T, Ice Cube, some of the pioneers in the rap game, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, David Banner. The list goes on and on about the people that actually stood up and fought for, like, Royce to be where he at and making power moves right now. Eric Dyson, Michael Dyson, excuse me. So, like, it's so many people that has helped, contributed to black progression, black awareness, you know, where we at right now. And Hero featuring White Gold, the last track of the album, that's a song dedicated to his father. I thought it was beautiful how he ended the album with that track. So now, like I said, 22 tracks, like 6 skits, interludes. The weaknesses or the limitations on this album, I felt that he produced the whole album to himself. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I felt that he should have had more producers on this album. He should have had DJ Premier. He should have had maybe his in-house producers that he always get. He probably should have had an Eminem produced a track for him. I ain't gonna lie. He should have had probably, like, Danger, one of the Griselda producers. He should have had him on the track. He should have got Alchemist. For real, he should have had, like, different producers give him different heat. or even try some new people for real, because I felt like the sound was being watered down over and over and over, and it felt like it was just taking the substance away from the album. Too many features. I agree, it's too many features on this album, because the album, I feel like I'm listening to so much of a Prime album to a certain degree. You know, this is a nice album, but it still feels like a Prime album. I wanted to hear more Royce by himself to tell his story, give his, account of what he's seen, his testimony only. If you're giving a course, yes, it's good to give references and all from different authors and scholars, but what about you? What is your contribution to the course? That's the thing. I felt that Royce lacked that. This album is not better than the Book of Ryan, not at all. Is it better than Layers that came out in 2016? It goes a different direction. I feel like Royce is he's just giving his perspective, and he's giving people more of lessons about African American culture, Black history. So it's a totally different album. This album, I'll give it a B-, an 8 out of 10. I'll give it a B-. It's close to a C+. I'll give it an A- on creativity. I'll give it an A for the history lessons. I'll give it a B+ for the features of the people he's reached out to actually help with this album. I give the production a C. I felt the production is just solid, but it's not the best. And I felt that I give also the album a C for just nothing being added for 2020. I mean, it's dope, but it's nothing being more like what we want to see. There's gonna be a lot of Royce da 5'9" heads like, oh, this album is dope as hell. Don't get me wrong, it's a dope album, but I have to critique the album, not comparing albums, but critiquing of what I felt that could have been better. That's my thing. Like I said, it's still an 8 out of 10. Still a dope album, but it's not the best of Royce. Trust me, I know Royce. Royce, on an intellectual aspect, that level, great for this album. The production wise, I wasn't feeling throughout the whole album. There's songs that hit and miss, but it doesn't have the collective form that makes you go to pow. So 8 out of 10, that's a B. If you heard the album, please let me know what you feel in the comment section. If you haven't heard the album, please, I recommend you stream it, download it, music platforms, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, check it out on YouTube. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live. If you'd like to support and donate to the channel, I have Patreon, Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, Streamlabs. Everything's in the description. Until next time, peace.